And Spartans, just as a quick little bonus for today, I wanted to say something really quick about the Governator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, I don't expect he will ever see this, but in case he did, um, I just want him to know that while I disagreed with his position about the Proposition 50 in California, um, I don't hold his support against it against him. Um, and I hope a lot of other people don't either that wanted Prop 50 to go through. Because as the way I understood it, from what I saw and different talks I saw him give about the situation, um, he had a very principled stance about the issue. And honestly, he had a very correct assessment of the issue that I didn't disagree with whatsoever. Um, the way I understood it, the way he talked about it, he was the one that helped bring about the nonpartisan redistricting commission for California when he was governor years ago. And that is the sort of thing that Democrats have been trying to push across the country to help get rid of gerrymandering, to help draw lines in a neutral way so that everyone has representation in a meaningful and significant way. Um, so that everybody has a fair shot, has a somewhat fair playing field, as opposed to every 10 years, whatever party is in power just draws the lines to whatever way suits them best. And his fear was that in a few years, when it comes time for the proposition to have a vote on whether or not it still needs to be in place, that the party in power is just going to leave it in place and just keep their lines and keep their control. And that's not unfounded fear. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? I mean, let's be honest, it's very possible. And then you end up with a permanent gerrymander of a state, one way or the other, which is not good. No idea of permanent gerrymandering is good for the voters, because if the party in power ever begins to go astray or go too far, your ability to check them, to get them out of power, get someone else in there, is a lot less. It's a lot lower. And statistically speaking, it might be very hard. And he's not wrong. And it is a very legitimate concern, and one that I share. But what do you do about this particular situation, however, is was where our opinions differed. And he felt like you should essentially take the higher road and leave in the nonpartisan redistricting, because if you get rid of it, then how do you take a principled stance? I get that. It's a good question, and I don't know if I have a good answer for it. All I know is that in this moment, I and a lot of other people feel like you have to fight fire with fire. And we didn't start this redistricting war. The Republicans started it in Texas. Donald Trump started it when he called up Greg Abbott in Texas and said, "Find me 5 more seats for the House of Representatives." And we've been steamrolling ever since. A lot like when he called Georgia and said, "I just need 11,780 votes." Because the guy's as corrupt as could be. Schwarzenegger was around for me a lot during my formative years, in the sense that I grew up watching a lot of his films in the 80s and 90s. I mean, everything from Predator to Conan to Terminator to Kindergarten Cop and Total Recall, and just a lot of, in my formative years, whenever, and even today, I still love these movies, these films, and he has a place in my memories, like a lot of people, I'm sure. A very good place. And I'm not going to hold it against him that he took a principled stand, because in a lot of other ways, I know I've listened to him talk a lot too. He agrees, that this administration is a terrible thing for the country and the things they're doing are out of control, and we need to push back against that. And he agrees with all that. I think in the most part, but in this one particular instance, and I get it, it was his baby. I mean, he worked to make this happen, and it was a good thing. And I wish that you could have nonpartisan, neutral redistricting committees in all states drawing these lines. Because I mean, at this point, especially by the end of this year or next, I mean, pretty much about every state in the country is going to be gerrymandered. And what happens then? I mean, I don't know. I don't know for sure. So I mean, it's not a great place to be, because the voters are the ones that hurt. The voters are the ones whose voices get less and less heard, or are able to be less and less heard because of this stuff. And so I mean, I'm not sure about that one yet. All I know is right now we got to bar the doors. We got to lower the gates. We got to put wood on the windows. I mean, we got to get the oil boiled up and ready to go. I mean, because the wolves are at the door and they are scratching like crazy to get through. And, for now, whatever they do, we have to push back, and we have to do it even harder at times. And I hate that, and I don't like it. Trust me, I would much rather be sitting here doing reviews about, watching Conan the Barbarian 30 years later, and and showing off my collection of Terminator stuff. And I mean, T2 was amazing. When I was a kid, I remember sitting outside on the steps of the theater when it was out, and just not bawling, but I mean, I remember sitting on the steps of a theater in a mall, just sad because mom and dad wouldn't let me watch it because they said I was too little. But they wouldn't let me watch it. But I had toys. I had the comic book series. There was an old comic series, Terminator 2 comic book series, which actually had scenes in it that were not in the movie. And so they let me read the comics, but they wouldn't let me watch the movie. So I didn't actually get to see it in theater. I didn't get to see it until it came out on tape. And, my brothers let me watch it. But, anyway. So, I mean, I think the man is a man of principle. I really do. I hope that's true. I know he's had some controversies in his life and his personal life and different things. I mean, we all have problems and make mistakes, but I do like to think, and I know too, you have to be careful meeting your heroes. I've had a couple of instances in my life with that where I came away a little soured towards people. So, so I hope that's not true, and I hope I'm accurate in my assessment. That I think in general, I think he's a principled and a good man, and I think fondly of those memories that he was able to give me and everyone else. And so I don't hold this against him, and I hope you don't either. And I think that now that this is passed, and we've had a good election night, that we need to throw that stuff behind us and keep moving forward. All right, Spartans. Again, good luck to you. Stay strong out there. Keep talking. Keep pushing everywhere you can. I saw something interesting the other day talking about maybe trying to donate more income so you can zero out your taxes so you don't send so much tax money to the government right now. That's an idea, something to think about. And it's legal, as far as I can tell, as long as you keep track of everything. So anyway, stay strong, Spartans, and we'll be back again soon.